Welcome to VR. First we're going to go to our loadout itself. We're going to look at a couple of things. The most important thing for aiming is consistency. If you really want to get good at aiming, pick a weapon that you really like and make it a point to get comfortable with it. Once you've selected a weapon, and VR is the best place to test that out, you're going to want to pick a sight. Typically a 1x or 2x scope is going to be your best bet. I like 1x. I recommend using that for all of your weapons. Most of us play for the objective in Honey Badgers, which means that we're going to be switching around between weapons a lot. Keeping at least that consistent is going to help you keep your aim consistent. But scopes like the HSNV are great for certain situations. However, the HSNV does take longer to get the gun in front of your face, which means that your opponent has additional time to shoot you before you can get a bead on them. So I don't recommend using it except in very specific situations, which we're not going to talk about in this tutorial. So once you've selected your gun and your sight, the next thing that I'm going to recommend for any of the assault rifles, carbines, or LMGs is if you have the option, pick a forward grip. The forward grip will dramatically increase your accuracy, and I'll show you why in the next section. And then the third option that you're going to have is for ammo. If you have the option for soft point ammunition, I highly recommend taking it. It will increase your time to kill, or your TTK. This is important because the less time your enemy has to shoot at you, the better, so kill them quickly. There's also hard point ammunition, which I do not recommend. It doesn't really do much for you. It increases your bullet velocity, and that means your bullets will fly faster, but since mostly we're going to be talking about close quarters combat, that's not going to be particularly helpful. There are other options like flash suppressors and suppressors. These are highly situational. The one that some people will swear by is the compensator. I do not use it because it does rob you of some of your bullet velocity, and it's not always an option for many of these weapons. So now that we've covered weapons loadouts for assault rifles, LMGs, and carbines, we're going to talk about SMGs. SMGs I distinguish from ARs, LMGs, and carbines because they're almost exclusively close quarters combat. They have a much larger bloom than some of their sister and brother weapons in the assault rifle, LMG, and carbine category, and that makes a big difference when it goes to considering TTK. For these weapons, I almost exclusively use the extended magazine. Because the bloom is so much larger on these weapons, this gives me many more opportunities to land deadly shots before my opponent has the opportunity to shoot me. And once again, I choose soft point ammunition if I have the choice. So there are a lot of tools here in VR that will help you start learning to get better at aiming. There are a couple of things that you're going to want to consider when you start learning how to aim. The first is the recoil of your gun. So this is what happens if I just fire an entire clip at the wall and don't adjust for my recoil. And as you can see, your first couple of shots are good. You might get a couple of opportunities for a headshot, but then about 2/3 of your clip is going to be wasted shooting above your target's head. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to try practicing holding your reticle over that target. So this is good, but what's better is actually burst firing, because in addition to recoil, there's another mechanic in the game that you're going to have to contend with, which is the bloom and cone of fire. As you can see, as I burst fire, my spread is much narrower. Many more of my shots are hitting right in the head region than if I just hold down my trigger. So keep these three things in mind as you start learning how to aim. This is going to be one of the places where you can start learning how to track your shots and learn how to move while shooting, because if you are not moving while you're shooting at somebody, 1v1, chances are they're going to kill you very quickly and you're not even going to have a chance. So try strafing back and forth and keeping your reticle over the head, and then start trying to do things like, firing, moving back and forth. It's not as good as if I'm standing still, but what can you do? Then you can also try switching between targets while moving. Pick 2 targets and switch back and forth. That's another option to help you work on your aim. My personal favorite is just to spawn a bus, take it out to a location where a few of the dummies are. Then I can re-up my ammo whenever I need to. All of these dummies have a relatively realistic amount of hit points. It's slightly less than what you're going to find in game because they don't have armor, but it will give you an idea of how to strafe around, accounting for uh, uh, variations in terrain, different kinds of targets that will help you identify them, the difference between medics, engineers, and infiltrators of the other factions just by how they look, and allow you to strafe around, work on your headshot, work on your aiming, and it will tell you if you get that headshot, which is great. That's how you know you're getting better. And work on your burst firing so that that muscle memory becomes second nature.